I think we just got a taste of what would have happened if Bach started vaping at a very young age. We would have ended up where we were. Now, in TV infomercials, they always say, but wait, there's more, right? So we've reflected on the past, so we could say, well, a bit of hindsight, and then a bit of insight, and now we want to talk about the foresight. So Ben, you look like a distinguished gentleman. Praelexis, what is next?
Yes, Gillian, I knew you were going to ask that question, and I came prepared with my crib notes. Because at my age, I can't remember a thing.
But you at least remember to bring the notes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's
yes.
a good thing. Okay.
The only problem is that it turns out that I also cannot read. But what was the question again?
What is next? Praelexis.
Oh, okay, yes. Yeah. That reminds me of a story. When I was a youngster many years ago, I guess I was someone not yet 40, and I saw this image of someone who tried to predict what the household would look like in the 21st century. Now, on this side of this image, there was this huge mainframe, as big as a house. And on this side, there was this tiny robot that was catering for every possible need for the inhabitants. And thinking back to that picture, I realized that they got everything wrong. And so I certainly don't know the answer to your question. So I'll now do what I always do, is that I ask someone who's cleverer than I am, and I have someone just next to me. So I would pass this question on to McAley and ask him, McAley, can you identify some of the current trends that you think will take Praelexis forward? And by the way, if you think that's a cop-out, you would be right. So.
And now I have to answer it. Certainly, I will not try to predict the future, but if one observes what's going on at the moment, I think there's three things that I think is very relevant at the moment. And before I say that again, maybe a reminder also that in '95, when the browser, for example, become popular, or internet and all those things, not all the kind of applications that we think of today we could even imagine. I don't think we thought about Facebook as an example. So one should also bear that in mind when one takes trends and things of today in mind, that certainly one cannot be 100% sure of what will happen. But certainly the three that comes to mind in my case, the one being generative AI or ChatGPT, I mean, we must mention it somehow, or LLMs, or whatever your flavor of the word is. With this, of course, the kind of technology has already made an impact. I mean, we use it in ways where it assists us with writing code, for example, write better responses. I know Graham one day had to contact a client, and the person was not really responding, and then he asked ChatGPT, please help me to write a WhatsApp message that I can get the person to respond, but write it in a way that there's lots of empathy. And then he sent the message, and lo and behold, an hour later, he actually got the reply. So there are those ways that you can do it. And I mean, for creativity and those things, certainly ChatGPT play a role in interacting with your clients. So I think that's an important one. The other two would be causal modeling being another one, and then also computing at the edge, and then edge AI. But if I think of it, I mean, we mentioned now, you almost get this feeling that it's lots and lots of data, and then you can kind of solve any kind of problem just by throwing more data on it. But Prof, do you think that is the case, that if I throw more and more data problem, it would actually, I can solve everything?
Okay, I don't think I'm going to be able to dodge this one. So let me see. Now it actually reminds me of another story. And there was this youngster, I think I should call him Little Ben, because that's a name that I can remember. And there actually is a Little Ben, but he's called Theo. I mean, it's really confusing, but anyway, that's not the point. But this Little Ben, he was in primary school, and so the teacher asked him this question and said that you have 10 sheep on this side of the road, and then one sheep crosses over to the other side. How many sheep remain on this side of the road? And of course, this young Little Ben, he answered, he said, none, 0. And the teacher, didn't quite follow that argument. He said, that, how can that be? I mean, you have 10, one crosses the street, how many remain? And then he said to the teacher, you don't know sheep at all. If one sheep crosses the road, every sheep crosses the road, and none remain. Okay, so it's supposed to be a joke, but the joke has a point. the joke has a point. And the point is that what is really important, you have the data, but if you don't have the domain knowledge, if you don't understand the problem that you want to solve, well, forget it. You are going to think that 9 sheep remain on this side of the road and they don't cross over. So you certainly need more than just data. But then if we think of things like causality, when we work with data, most of the time we only work with correlations. And so we have things that are completely different, but they may be correlated. You have this cock crow early in the morning, and then the sun comes up, and there's a correlation. But very few people would think that this cock is actually, causing the sun to rise, except the cock, of course. What we need in many cases is that we also need to be able to identify causal effects, so that this thing is actually caused by something else. And I've lived a long time, so and they say when you get old, you think back a lot. So I remember reading something else, and the one chapter of that book I remember, I don't remember the author, I don't remember the title. The author I remember, I can't pronounce, and the title is just too long for me to remember. But I do remember this one chapter, and the title of that chapter is that in God we trust, everyone else needs data. And what that chapter was about was, it was about cancer, and then a number of years ago when a woman developed breast cancer, then the treatment was something they called radical surgery. And they maimed the poor woman. and no one had an idea if that was effective or not. And of course, when they had the data, they eventually found out it was not effective. But that is one situation where you really need to know, if you do the surgery, is that really necessary? Is that going to be the cause that women get better or recover from surgery? And of course, you all know many other examples like that. So causality, fortunately, from a theoretical point of view, well, not we, certainly not me, but researchers have made sort of very significant progress, and I think that is something that one can be excited about. It opens a new window and new possibilities. And then, Ali, I was supposed to ask you another question at this point. Oh, yes. What about edge computing? I think you mentioned that.
Yes,
okay, can you elaborate on that,
I
please?
will not say much, but the long and the short of it is if you have this device, there's even some form of tensor processor embedded on it. And it do sort of, I mean, sometimes they use it to swipe the finger left and right, watch TikTok videos. But the reality is more and more computation will also move towards devices. Now, I mean, on the one hand, we like and embrace cloud computing. That's where things are happening. But my favorite example is I don't want to drive in a car and then everything must be pre-computed, not pre-computed, actually, will be computed in the cloud and then somewhere it must stop. Think of an autonomous vehicle, then it must first get decision from somewhere in the States to be sent to us, and then there's load shedding with the servers, and poof, you're in an accident. So the long and the short is the computation must happen there at the device, in that case, the car. And we believe that more and more of these kind of things. We've also seen edge, meaning a device within an organization, where maybe it really needs to happen fast. Think of security cameras. Think of within retail sector that you take the computation to the really happening there where it's happening, and then of course sometimes it will happen in the cloud. So those are the kind of I would say what edge computing then would imply.
So lots of exciting things. I mean, as you were talking, it reminds me of that story about when the laser was developed. They said, we have this brilliant tool waiting for problems to show up. And again, it's this idea that necessity is the mother of invention. And as you were talking about Chat GPT and chatbots, I know there's now something called Khan-Migo, which is a personalized tutor for mathematics. And again, it's enabled through AI. So amazing things are lying ahead. I mean, you spoke about data, artificial intelligence, the importance of partnerships, the importance of being locally relevant. But is that where it ends for Praelexis?
Yes, but not yes. I want to answer, it's not where it ends. But before I say something about the future, I think it is time to reflect a little bit and say a few words of thanks. And to help us...
Can I? No, I now know to jump in, because you have to ask me another question because my cup notes says it. You are supposed to ask me, is there anything I cannot do?
All right, so before we get to that bit, and before we get to that bit, I just realized that I'm not in control of this conversation. Ben, is there anything that AI cannot do?
Thank you. No. Okay. Yes. AI cannot have fun. Yes, to be more to the point, I cannot imagine a robot listening to these musicians and take real pleasure out of it. I cannot imagine a robot looking at a Van Gogh painting and really be mesmerized by that. I cannot imagine, sorry, no, I'm not allowed to say that. But...
Is it parental guidance kind of? Okay.
No, I spoke to my wife and she said that, no, I'm not allowed. Okay. And then also, robots are no substitute for humans. I mean, I don't know about you, but I absolutely hate these scanned birthday messages I get, because I know it is a computer or AI behind that, and that computer and AI doesn't care a thing about me. So why bother with that? So robots, AI can mimic emotions. They can fake it. But I think we are probably getting quite good at recognizing fakes. And so very hard to substitute a robot. Well, I cannot imagine it for real human emotions and real human closeness. So I think we are quite safe on that. And I think that was one of the themes for this evening. But Ellery, now I can hand over to you.
Yeah, so thanks for that, Ben, because I think, as we talk about human beings, we're talking about machines, but just reminding us that as human beings, we're all about the 3 H's. It's about head, it's about heart, and about hands. And it's about logic and emotions and how that comes together to shape what we do. But Hugo, I'm going to hand over to you because I know that you've got a long list of people that you want to acknowledge.
Yes, so maybe I'm going to start first with a disclaimer. So I've done this before. I made a little mistake the first time. I just had a little list and I just started reading the names up from top to bottom, and I didn't filter according to alphabetical order. And then there's one specific gentleman was quite upset because he was not on top of the list. So when I start to do this, I get quite nervous. But now I've just changed my formula around. So just what I do now is I just say sorry ahead of it. So I say, sorry if I missed you. If you have a problem, I'll be at the bar at the back afterwards. So yes. So let's start. For this event, I think the 3 main contributors would be Lizette, Johan and McCallery. They spent a lot of time thinking about this and how are they going to put all of this together. So we just want to thank them for all their effort and creativity to come up with this. It's unique. It's very interesting. And secondly, I think I want to just say thank you to the musicians and MC Gillian. Without you guys, this would not have been possible. We would have struggled. A bunch of analytics. Yeah, thank you. And third, for all the Praelexians, we're a software company, and we can't put a PC on you and a piece of code and show it to you. It means nothing. So our showcases are people, and without them we can't do anything. So we want to say thank you to all. There's many people that work for us. All of them's got a small building block in this big block, and we just want to say thank you to all of them for their contribution to Praelexis. And then last but not least, our clients. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. So I think from Praelexis, we just want to say thank you for all your investment and patience and sticking with us. We hope to take it far, and just thank you very much for all your support. We appreciate it. Yeah.
Right, thanks Hugo. And on behalf of all the people that you admitted, I just want to thank you because apparently you're buying drinks at the bar. So thank you for that. So final word.
Yes, so final word. So one comment. So thanks again for everyone. Hugo said that many people played a role in my life, and for them I do thank them. I want to particularly thank Ben here next to me. With all his jokes, he was actually the first one to teach me machine learning. And that happened in 2002. And then we've had actually one, he reminded me that I should do machine learning. And 2, we've implemented the first algorithm, which was eigenphases. And in the end, he was also my PhD supervisor. And somehow our journey even continued thereafter. So without him, with all his stories and things, somehow I think this evening would have not been possible. So thank you. And then some final comments. Gillian, wir haben irgendwie in Deutschland begonnen, Bad Neuenahr, und jetzt gehen wir auch zurück. So we've somehow started in Germany with that story I told you at the very beginning, and in a sense we're also going back there. We have some clients in the UK, in Germany, we've even have a company there, and the idea is of course that we will expand our work. There's the products that we've mentioned that we will be working on. But in the end, I can summarize differently. And maybe Winston Churchill also helps us here, since he made the comment, now this is not the end. It's not even the beginning of the end, but it's perhaps the end of the beginning. And if we distill what we are doing is that we are problem solvers. Somehow we observe the world out there, we understand that there are problems, and then we see that there's data somehow helping to solve this problem. That is what we will continue to do. Yes, the technology will change. Yes, there might be something beyond machine learning or AI. Maybe there's another deep learning that's coming out that we even don't know about today. But that doesn't matter. Since we principally look at problems and solving them, that is what we continue to do so. And I, as a personal life motto, I used something from Gustav Fowler in his Nobel Prize reading. He had the subquote, "Ad astra per aspera et per ludum." It means to the stars, through hard work, that is certainly what we will do, et ludum, and fun. And that is what we will continue to do.
Wow, thank you, McEllery. So, ladies and gents, I hope you got a sense of how they got here 10 years later. It's a company that is locally relevant and internationally competitive. It's a company where we celebrate autonomy. It's a company where we chase after mastery. And it's a company driven by a sense of purpose. But we understand that when we talk about mastery, it's asymptotic. You aim for it, but you never get there. So maybe in the words of Mandela, after climbing a hill, stop, celebrate where you've come from, but then understand that there's a lot more climbing to do. So we're going to close this evening in more or less the same way as we started. At the beginning, we introduced the musicians to the machine, and we're going to close by doing more or less the same. This time round, we tapped into ChatGPT. We asked ChatGPT to write us a poem. It came up with a number of stanzas, and now we're going to see if these beautiful people, Wat, Vulcan, Vinand, and Andre T, can make the poem sound like something. The poem has got something to do with artificial intelligence in Africa?
Yes, so I created my first personal ChatGPT profile. I don't know what you call it, but anyway, so the screen popped up. It's like, oh, okay, well, I'm doing the show for this big company. I better try it out. And I said, okay, please write me a poem, 4-stanza rhyming poem in the style of T.S. Eliot. And I'm thinking, on machine learning in Africa. And I thought, I'm gonna trip this machine over. I mean, there can't possibly be poetry. So this came out. I'm going to read the last bit. It says, so let the algorithms flow as dreams encode a line. Just side note, you don't want that in any song that you would like to write for your girlfriend if you're a tech nerd, okay? Just free advice. So let the algorithms flow as dreams encode a line. In Africa's spirit, they'll bestow a future so divine. Machine learning's guiding hand through challenges untamed. It's quite fitting, right? With hope and innovation, Africa's story is reclaimed. Yeah. Here we go.
Right, guys, so take it away. Take your music and add it to the poem. And this is how we sign off.
Africa's sunlit skies, a new frontier unfolds. Machine learning, steady rising, stories yet untold. From savannas to the cities, a digital journey begins. Innovating with persistence, where a bright future wins. Through algorithms, watchful eyes, patterns in data gleam, aiding farmer's hopeful cries, turning fields to a dream. Healthcare's grass grows stronger, diagnosing with insight. Machine learning's boundless reach, a beacon shining bright. Language barriers crumble as translation finds its voice, uniting cultures, humble hearts and minds rejoice. In Africa's diverse embrace, machine learning takes its stand, a tool for progress, weaving strands across the land. So let the algorithms flow as dreams and code align. In Africa's spirit they'll bestow a future so divine. Machine learning's guiding hand through challenges untamed. With hope and innovation, Africa's story is reclaimed.
Thank you, ladies and gents. That's the end of our discussion and taking you on a journey through the history, celebrating 10 years of excellence and many more years to come. Thanks again to our brilliant musicians. On piano, we've got Vinant, on violin, Vulcan, and on guitar, Andre T. Enjoy the snacks and thanks for celebrating with us this evening.